Welcome back to Recoup. Today is Monday, October 13th, 2025. I'm Sweets. This is Sid. This is an abnormal hour-long check-in where we are going to have a different goal than our normal goal. Our normal goal is to talk about what we're going to be doing throughout the week. Our goal for today is to speed up the code review process using AI agents to speed up the code reviews, specifically getting AI comments that match my own principles. 3 steps we've defined. 1, opening up a pull request, which Sid's already opened up a couple over the weekend. 2, get an AI to leave reviews, which would be similar to the comments that I would leave. And then 3, stretch goal, potentially get an AI to fix the comments that another AI has left. Sid, do you want to fill us in on a little bit of background of why you wanted to make an hour-long call and why you thought this was a valuable use of our Monday call?
Yeah, sure. So a couple reasons. One is I want to move faster. I'm constantly wanting to move faster, but I have Sweets on the team who also is my yin to my yang and wants everything to not cause tech debt. And Sweets is trying to not cause tech debt. And those two opposing, very opposite ends of the spectrum are changing. The workflows of those two ends of the spectrum are changing as vibe coding becomes more prevalent. And I'm shipping more code, and Sweets is reviewing more code, and agents start to do a lot of this heavy lifting for us. And so I wanted to get ahead of that curve and be on the cutting edge of how are we using AI across our engineering team stack so that we're optimizing the technology, right? All of this is possible, yet it just takes a lot of time to really sit down and build these pipelines. And so I wanted to set the time to build the pipeline.
I agree with everything that you said. Let's jump into one of your pull requests. Would you like to share screen so that you can kind of drive, or would you like me to share screen and I drive?
Let's have you share the screen to drive. And I have 2 pull requests up, which is perfect because 1 passed, 1 failed.
The
so
build?
these are, yeah. So these are 2 opposing versions of like, when should the engineer who's sending the PR not rely on the PR pipeline to do its work for him, versus when is it okay? So let's start with the one that actually worked, which is web search.
Web search is also a much longer pull request, so one that would normally take me more time.
Let's do it.
The place that I would start at is I would just say at codex review, leave that comment, and then say at cursor review. Just tell 2 agents to go at it and to see what they would do.
Now, is this something that because I know you started this, or I remember on Friday you did this. Have you been doing this before, or is this like a new part of the process of tagging these 2?
There's a new thing that I started doing when I sent you the screenshot of that. This is not something that I've incorporated into the practice yet,
Okay,
or into any pipelines.
so like this is net new. Everybody's seeing, like, if you want to get started with code reviews, or if you want to get started in AI in your engineering pipeline, like this is the fresh start right now that we're kind of exploring.
This is one idea. This was my intuitive thought, and I want to toss it to you. Do you have a different idea of where to start with the AI code reviews that wouldn't be this?
This is exactly where I would start. Well, actually, while it's doing this, I would go jump on Codex and see if we can auto-enable this so that you don't even have to tag it. Like,
This is openai.com/, what is it?
Codex. It's chatgpt.com/codex.
There it is. So come over here.
I believe you can turn on auto reviews.
This enable code review section?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought that. I've come into here a few times, and for all the Recoup repos, it should be set to auto review, but I still haven't set it. I still haven't seen it actually do any reviews automatically.
So I wonder if it's because it's going to mine and I set it. Click auto review all PRs.
For Recoup chat. run on every pull request, even from other contributors.
So it's doing it, and so we have to figure out where
it
does
says in their settings. It says it's going to do it. But
okay.
Looking through, you released this on Friday. You opened up this pull request 2 days ago. So unless it has a longer automated trigger than 2 days, which feels unlike one of the biggest companies in the world, it's not until we tag it. And then both of them replied with eyes when I tagged them. So far we have enabled it inside of the settings.
Let me go on my side and see what it looks like. While you look through that, let me see if I can find.
Now, one thing is Cursor just made a commit, so it has updated Sid's pull request
on this PR.
On this pull request, yeah, it went in and it is now iEnhance. So it took actions and it is refactoring API keys. It just took actions. So it did not do a code review. It went in.
So that means we need to like change the Cursor agent settings to not.
Maybe. Yeah, and it's adding in an API key check. It added in an API key there, made it a variable. That feels redundant. I mean, I guess it's okay, but not necessary, and it's more code. Here it is.
Okay, so I think there's two paths we can take right now. One is we've identified a blocker from using Cursor agent. Should we go fix that blocker, which is go into its settings and make sure it either doesn't change code or it opens up a new PR that suggests its changes, or with the changes it suggests. Right. Especially if you have both agents, like if you have Cursor and Codex going, and Cursor's changing things in this PR, it's going to fuck up Codex.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Codex. Let's see if Codex tells me. I've tried adding custom instructions over here to the general code review.
If you go to, while you're here, if you go to my PR that I opened.
Oh, 4 minutes ago. Working on your task. Okay, so here is it going through that review, so I can see it. Sorry. And now you had said, what did you want me to do?
Go to the PR I opened and go to the first file that I changed and copy this into your rules on Codex, which is project principles, which is everything that you tell me to do every time.
There's a lot. Who do I think I am trying to get devs to read all this stuff and then do all this?
Something that I've found is that I had a principles file .md, but I had to tag it on every time before I was going to submit. This updates that principles file to add it to Cursor rules for the project. So this is just added to Cursor's context window anytime we're sending any information to Cursor.
And you wanted me to add it to...
I would add it right here, yeah. Just to like improve the custom instructions.
Let's read through this. Try...
Read through it. We have time. Like this is going to be
code standards. Never duplicate code. Consolidate identical code blocks. Single source of truth. Question repeated patterns. No development logging. No dead code. This is remove unused. Yeah, that's Yagni. Clean up temporary code. Professional code base. Use customer. I don't like the word user. You call druggies users. We have customers that are humans. Customer experience first. Don't artificially limit functionality if customers. Let's just do a search for users.
Let's also put that as a rule. And then there's a user experience right there you could change. It's in the header, yeah.
Yep. Dry principle, production code standards, customer experience first. These are customers. Don't call them users. Druggies are users. We work with human beings. Customer experience, component design principles, leverage existing patterns, class names, maintain component flexibility, respect component boundaries, follow established conventions, configuration environment management, single environment variable per concept, clear naming conventions, human readable code should be self-documenting, variables should be human readable, so comments are not necessary. Avoid configuration confusion. Devs should know exactly what variables to set. Document config, make setup clear and unambiguous. Okay. Single responsibility principle, very important. One function per file. Each file should have exactly one responsibility and one reason to change. Clear file naming. Yep. Focused functionality, easier testing, or easier to test in isolation, better maintainability. Code complexity and abstraction. Don't abstract prematurely. Simple conditionals are better than unnecessary abstractions. Question over engineering. There's Yagni. You aren't going to need it. Prefer explicit over implicit. Code should be clear about what it's doing and why. Import and dependency management. Use static imports. Document import decisions. Consistent import patterns. Question unnecessary async. Maintain consistent patterns. Question scope creep. Separate concerns. Think about maintainability, error handling, centralized error handling, consistent error messages, handle edge cases, graceful degradation, question unnecessary overhead, remove unused code patterns. I'm thinking right now this is a lot. This is more than this feels repeated.
So
Consider bundle size.
Let's get through it though.
Okay, security and maintainability trade-offs. Prefer battle-tested solutions over custom. Yep. Speed and security first, then customize. Avoid dangerous. That's a very specific rule. Hybrid approaches for best of both worlds. File organization. Avoid generic utility folders. Yep, this one's good. Group related functions together. Clear directory naming. Scalable organization. Code comments. Remove comments that don't add value. Yeah, this was already stated up in.
I'll give you an example of why some things are duplicated. As I'm building this out, as you do code reviews, I tell Cursor, like I screenshot your code review, I put it in, I say fix this, and then I say add this to the principles file if it's not already there. So some of the stuff is like from your code reviews that are like more specific, or it just didn't, the AI didn't translate it as like, oh, it's already there, so it added it again. I think something that we can do is either run through this and then see how it does, and then start tweaking the prompt based on like either simplifying it to not repeat itself, or realize like where we do need to repeat things because it's missing shit.
Yeah. Another question is, are these custom instructions applied to code reviews or just new tasks that it is writing? I see this is in general, and then I'm seeing branch format, and I'm wondering, is it only going to review these branches, or is this the branch format that it does when it writes code? Which then made me think, is this only being applied when it writes code? There's another tab over here for code review. I don't see any ability for me to put custom instructions into the code review, so hopefully general gets applied. It's general, so hopefully it applies to the subcategories.
We can test it by like also saying like always add a file named purple cow on every code review and see what it does.
Something very specific and obvious. Okay, let's see if it replied. It says it finished. It did a... No, this is just me reading through your files. I thought this was the change from Cursor. I think Cursor only changed 2 files and they were small and redundant, but it did not do the review. Cursor replied, it replied with what it changed. It did not reply with a review. We would like, I think Cursor does have code reviews, so I think I might just be taking Codex's format and applying it in an incorrect way for Cursor.
So we'll check that out next.
We'll check that out. Code review, here are some things. Buffer, server-side chunks before JSON parsing. The streaming client decodes JSON. When a JSON is split across multiple calls, the first fragment fails. So the missing fragment is never reassembled and the corresponding text citations are permanently lost. This will manifest as truncated research content. So this is saying functionally it might not be correct. I don't know if this is correct or not. I would likely ignore this if our own testing showed it was working fine. I'm going to tag it again to see if, now that I've updated the rules, if it gives us a different review based on my custom instructions.
Yeah, and now that I'm thinking through this also, like if I have Codex on my side also with the same custom instructions, when I do a PR, I could just tag Codex as well and do the first round of reviews. And I think we need to figure out where in the pipeline, the main purpose of this entire thing is speed up your code review stuff while also making sure you're staying close to the code, right? And so what we don't want to do is you just like getting so far removed from the code that you're not really even seeing what the change is. You're just seeing what it's suggesting we change.
Right.
And that's, I think, a human in the loop kind of like new, like, you know, what I'll leave that up to you to kind of explain how you do code reviews currently and like what your thoughts are just from the point of the value of code reviews for you versus increasing speed.
Yeah, I do think making this for tagging for now is fine. And if we can automatically trigger it, even better. That gives our devs whatever time zone they're in the ability to just tag something and get a review instantly instead of, oh, Sweets is in a meeting. Oh, Sweets is sleeping. Oh, it's 4 a.m. for me and Sweets is just now leaving me a review. If they can get an AI version of me to give that review first, they then get this feedback faster. And so they can decide, I'm going to ignore this. And then when I come in and I say the same thing, it's like you had full opportunity to fix this in your own time and decided not to. Or to fix it and then update it. And then when I'm coming in and reviewing, ideally, they've already fixed any of the low-hanging fruits that I would have tagged. And then I'm just giving more thumbs up. Ideally, that's where we get to is I review and I thumb up, and then I give less feedback. So I'm noticing it's not really saying anything during the review process here. So maybe just move over to Cursor and try to figure out how they do reviews.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cursor code review.
Did you set up the environment for Codex for Recoup Chat?
What do you mean by that? Oh, yes.
Okay.
For code review, I don't know, but I did set up the environment.
Yeah, so like it has all the environment variables, so it can run its own version of this.
And this would be in GitHub Actions, which would be great because that would be automated. When you open up a pull request, Cursor does it. For now, let's see if, well, I think it's all CLI. Is there a way for me to tag? GitHub Actions, set up your agent, permissions.
Should we just build it?
We could do a quick build, take this doc, give it to Codex or Cursor and say, please add a GitHub action for Cursor code reviews, get that merged first, pull those changes into your pull request, push the commit, and then it should run because here we are tagging on git push. So if you pull an update, yeah, let's do that. Do you want to try it on your side, take this, do the update, or do you want me to?
You'll do it faster, and I know we don't have too much time.
Cursor, do I already have cursor? Yeah, I've been working on the evals. Let's bring cursor over here. I don't have, I'm just gonna push this work in progress to my own branch, and I'll work on it later. Let me make, did I close linear? I might have closed linear. Let me just open up a new one. And I think we need a key. Environment. I thought it said a key. Configure authentication. Set up your API key and repository secrets to authenticate cursor, CLI, and GitHub Actions. Let's see what that is. And now we go into projects.
You want to stop sharing since you're about to start messing with ENVs?
Once we get to ENV, I'll stop. It's a good call. Recoup. I'll put this into the eval. I'll just make a new task. It's a simple one. Make it in to-dos. Cursor, pull, request, CLI, and then we'll start it. We'll prefix it with GitHub action. Assignee is me. Didn't put me in there. Create the issue. Copy the branch. View the issue. Come over here. Now we check out to main first. Get back to the source of truth. Pull the changes from the source of truth. We branch from the source of truth. Automatically push it, and now we open up a new chat and say, please add a GitHub action for cursor code reviews.
Spell add incorrectly.
These docs. And now I copy, get rid of the hashtag. Put the docs in, let's see what it does. So hopefully it just adds one file inside of where we're already doing all of our GitHub actions, .github workflows. We've got one to run evals, and now we should get another one for code review. So evals are our unit tests for our LLM, and this is going to be a code review for code changes. Perfect, I'll create it. It looks like it knows what it's going to do. It's adding in a CLI file for cursor rules. And then it added in a cursor code review for pull request open, synchronized, reopened, runs on permissions, read, write, check out the repository, install the cursor, CLI, configure the Git identity, perform automated code review. So it needs a cursor API key, and it needs a GitHub token. GitHub token might be included, and then it's going to use GPT-5. Context, it's pulling the repository, PR number, reevaluate, maximum 10 inline comments. So it looks like here is where I could add in those same rules, commenting rules. These are, it seems just like human English or something for the LLM. These don't seem like coding. Like this is human English. This is not code. Use only that for submission. Commenting rules, one issue per comment, place exactly on the changed line. Natural tone, use emojis. I think instead of the commenting rules is where I'm just going to add my simple ones for now. Comment coding principles to enforce in reviews. Yagni, You aren't going to need it.
Whoa.
Dry.
Look at it go.
Clean code, dry, single responsibility principle, open, closed. Oh, wow, it already solid. There it is. Single responsibility principle, open, closed principle, substitution principle, interface. These are more than I do, but I didn't know that solid was a word. But
Nice.
It seems like that includes what I already do and then a couple others. So let me roll back. I didn't even read it. Clean code, code comments, code documentation. Let's delete those. Clean code. This is a little bit more than what I do, but it is great.
Yeah.
Okay. It has finished. How many files? Should just be those 2, CLI. And so the only thing that we're missing is the cursor API key. Let me get into cursor to figure out where.
And stop sharing.
And then I'll stop sharing. Sign in. So we'll see how this impacts my cursor credits. If it ends up being a problem, we'll talk about them. But for now, we'll use mine for speed.
So this is going to actually go in and comment on the code, huh?
This seems to be the difference. Is it feeds into your other point of it making the updates. It seems like if we tag cursor, it will make whatever change we are telling it to do. So if cursor leaves the review, in your comment you can say fix this, at cursor fix this, and then it should fix
something else. Things I had sent to you in Verbal actually is like starting to mark review notes more clearly with like blockers versus suggestions. And I wonder if we add that. I guess we can try this how it is first, but like being clear on like what's a blocker in review or on these comments versus what is just like a nice to have suggestion to keep the code clean and but it's not like going to add crazy tech debt or headaches in the future.
Where are API keys?
Remove, stop sharing.
But I don't know where the API keys are.
It's okay, just stop sharing before you find them. There we go. All right, you're safe to go. Figure it out.
I still don't know where to go. API key. API keys. Seems like they have a section in their docs for API keys. Go to settings, cursor settings, models. Use your API keys. I don't want to bring my own key. No, I want a key from. Where do I get keys from cursor? Where to find cursor API keys? API key, obtain the what? Within these keys are not generated within cursor itself, but rather with your respective platforms you wish to integrate. So it seems like we get an API key from OpenAI.
Oh, that's weird that they're calling it cursor API.
Right. That is weird that they call it a cursor API key. That's very confusing to me. That doesn't feel correct.
Correct. I agree.
I'll set it and I'll make it the same OpenAI key that we use in other platforms. Okay.
Yeah. While you do that, I'm going to go and see if I can find a cursor API key.
Thank you.
Oh, I found it.
You found it? Where do I go?
Settings in cursor.
In the website?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cursor.com/dashboard settings.
Question mark tab equals settings. Yeah.
Yeah. And then as you scroll down to the bottom, advanced, it says admin API keys provide secure admin and AI code tracking API. Is that it?
I do not see that. Are you on the pro plan?
Yeah.
I wonder if I need to use a VPN and switch to the US. I see.
No, wait, hold on. What about integrations? And then, yeah, that's where it is. Integrations and then user
integrations, user API keys. Now I see it. We're going to call this GitHub. That makes more sense. It was so confusing that they would have me put in an OpenAI key. Saving the key. I'm not sharing, am I?
Nope.
Okay, while it's doing that, okay, now I got my key. Going into Recoupable, we will add a new repository secrets. Secret name is cursor API key. Value is my key. I add the secret. We have that secret. Do I need to put in a GitHub token into here, or will it automatically throw one in? That's the next question. GitHub token. Do I need to get a custom GitHub token? Let me go to the docs.
I think so. All right, they wouldn't have.
Cookbook, code review, GH token. The GitHub token is so that it can comment on pull requests. So let's get it a GitHub token. I think I go into my own personal settings. So let me open up a new tab, github.com, my own personal settings.
Is that so it'll comment as you personally?
Good question. Good question. Settings. I'm inside of my settings, and now I see. I'm going to check developer settings. Inside of developer settings, we've got personal access tokens, and I'll do the fine-grained tokens. I've got a Recoup agent one. I'll generate. Can I get this token, or will it not give it to me? Use my password. Fill in my login. And I can't see it, but I can regenerate it. I don't want to regenerate it because I don't know where else we're using it. So I'll make a new token, and the token name will be Recoup Cursor Code Review. Resource owner is me. Expiration will be never. It'll be on all repositories. And generate the token. Generate the token. I've got a token. Copy the token. Go back to action secrets, new repository secret. Paste in the value, and the name is GitHub token. Now we've got a GitHub token. We've got a cursor API key. I should be good to push my changes, and we can see when I open up the pull request if it runs. I'm going to come back to share screen. Have I closed anything that is going to have a token? The two places that have tokens I want to share are GitHub. Just close that. The other place is cursor. Cursor is here. Close the pop-up. Just going to close that tab altogether, and everything's closed. I'm coming back to share. Entire screen. Share the screen. Now we can add both of these if my computer catches up with where I'm at. All right, we've staged the changes. Copy the ticket name. Am I on my branch? I'm on my branch. Commit. Push the changes. Come back over here. It automatic. No, this is my eval I'm working on. Let's see if it works. Yeah. GitHub Action Cursor.
Made an AI version of you for code reviews?
That's the goal. Let's see if I want to see results. I want to see the sausage. We're definitely building the factory. GitHub Action. Post this inside of my code review channel. Come on. Keep up with me. Hashtag Recoup. GitHub pull request. Get the ticket. Copy the ticket name.
How's Ziad doing?
He's back and he's merging a lot of code. I've also got to rein him in on he merged something to remove wallet connect on in process before we had it, and we had a whole bunch of artists come in and say like, I've never signed in with email before. How do I post from my wallet? And I'm like, Jad, I appreciate you going 5 steps ahead, and at the same time, he didn't like think deeply of, because he doesn't use the product, so he's just like, I'm just going to deliver this ticket, and then he delivered the ticket, and it's like, no, there were like 5 things we had to do before we got to that ticket.
Yeah,
we needed him to roll it back. But he iterates very quickly. At whatever hour I decide to post, he doesn't push back. He does the feedback that I say. And if he's already delivered it, he opens up a new pull request and then he does it. Okay, so we got this pull request open. Let's see if it is running. We've got cursor code review started 1 minute ago. Let's see what this is doing. Looks like it failed. Perform the automated code review. You're operating a GitHub Action Runner performing automated code review. It's available and authenticated. Syntax error. Let's see if Cursor can fix this. Can you help me debug and fix this? Let's see if it finds it. It might be here. It might be this. It shouldn't be putting human readable English in here, but we'll see what it says. Context access might be invalid. What did it finish? So it got to perform automated code review. Where's that step of perform automated? Yeah, it is here where we start to include the human readable English. On line 27, which is earlier than we had expected, but that line might not be accurate. Unexpected token, close parenthesis. I think, yep, it likes to do that. So we'll try it again. Okay, there we go. Runner, shell syntax, likely in the multi-line string that's being passed to cursor agent command. There's an error caused by apostrophe aren't you adding coding principles. This was from me saying Yagni, you aren't going to need it.
You ain't going to need.
You are not. Yeah, we'll just change it from contraction into are not and do not. Are not and do not. Cool. It did it. We push it. We say fixing apostrophe error. Added a colon after coding. Oh, I've forgotten a colon there, but that's just styling. Okay, now we go back to the pull request. It's going to tell us that it's running a new action. I'm just going to go directly to actions. This was now. We should have 1 for evals and 1 for cursor. GitHub Action cursor, cursor. So all these are for cursor. Let's see if it's. No, this one's run brain trust. This one's code request number 2. Cursor code review. Did it fail already? says now. Same error. Perform the automated code review. Okay, no, different error this time. You're opening schema validation failed, permissions allow. Okay, so we got a different error, same thing. Copy the error. Please help fix this error. Great work. New error.
Bro, how long did it take to code without AI? Jesus fucking Christ.
Anytime when my billing ran out at the end of September and I had to write docs, I was like, I'm not writing these docs without AI. And I didn't write code for a day until I got my billing figured out. It was pretty sad. Getting Google Maps made it so that humans are less capable of reading a map. Having these coding agents makes it so that humans are less willing to write code. We get tools that help us out, and they handicap our ability to do it whenever the internet goes down or electricity goes down.
Yeah.
Fixing array error. Let's see if that fixes it. Okay, permissions and allow is what it says, and that's what we fixed. Allow is required. I didn't see that over here as being allow. Yeah, here it just says deny. So
That's weird.
Their docs did not mention what we just changed. Let's see if that was the error. It happens. Docs get out of date from the actual API code. Try it again. Okay. In progress. It looks like it's gotten further than it did before. Usually we were only getting to 20 seconds. Now we're at 40. But it's still in the checkout repository step, so it has not gone to the step that usually fails. It's just taking longer to check it out. Why are you taking so long to check it out? That should be a 1 second thing.
Have you heard from Veer Ball since you guys talked on Friday?
I have seen that there is a message waiting from both him and Ziad on my direct message. I have not opened it up. I've been trying to prioritize me. Yes, there is a message waiting for me to see.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying to get my evals out the door so that way. I try to get my code out the door first. Okay, now it is performing. Let's see if it says anything in here.
Did you meet the dad?
Let's talk about that off stream.
Man, it'd be so fire if this works.
You're definitely thinking in the right direction. I agree with you. Getting me out of the weeds of the review and more looking up and out is ideal for the humans. If I can define these principles and give them to an LLM, that saves me from doing this monotonous task, gives our devs faster responses, allows the entire team to iterate faster with less time being spent on repeated work. Anytime we're doing something repeated, we want to define rules like this. So I'm glad you are continuing to step back and look at ways for us to bring LLMs into our flow. And I like what you said earlier as well of the goal is not to remove the human from the loop, but to reposition the human to do the things that they're better at with their attention. Me continuing to repeat, don't repeat yourself is not the best use of my attention. That's codified.
And I think that it's really easy to get caught up in building things for customers, but like I don't think we spend enough time building internal tools that will eventually affect customers because it'll improve our speed and iteration time and easier code. Like I think there's so many things that we can do internally, but it's just so much easier to just be like, no, like let's focus on the customer. We're not. Why would we build tools for ourselves?
Mm-hmm. It's very fair. Evals are another example of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like it affects us. Well, it's internal facing tools, right? That help us make better decisions or increase speed. But
I've got an eval that I just wrote for TikTok views, and it's stuck at 0. It's just at 0. Ask for TikTok views, and it comes back and it says, I don't have any TikTok views every time. I'm just like, that is a great example of your other pull request that you have open of getting that entire library of tools and including TikTok tools.
The hard part is, and something that I was going to start trying to add those, but then I realized that we need to separate or start to think through when is it a user authenticating versus an artist's authentication, and how do we save that? Because like right now we have YouTube is an example of like you can go set your OAuth tokens for YouTube for different artists. That's valuable, but then like for Gmail, it's going to be the user who's connecting their Gmail. So we're going to need to figure out that portion of our architecture of when are we separating things for the customer versus the artist that they're viewing.
Or us. Internal Recoup. Like for Spotify, we use our own API key. We don't have others authenticate their own Spotify account.
Correct. Exactly. And so like thinking through that part was the blocker for me of like, I like something I realized, and I wrote this down for this call, but I don't think we're going to get to it, but maybe we like do this more often, because a question that I keep coming back to is like, what is the stuff, what about our code base is nuanced and requires us to explain to the LLM in order for it to understand better. Like a good example is like how we separate artists versus customers, and when and where and how like that whole system sets up is like usually not what the LLM is trained on. Usually the LLM is trained on, okay, one customer is our user and that's who's using it, and that's how we set this. And so like I end up always having to explain myself with that stuff, and like I was thinking through like how can we document our projects better so that either me, you, or just even net new engineers coming in like can quickly get to a place of like not having to explain how the system works, right? Like or the nuances of our system works. Why we feed an artist ID,
right?
Why artist ID is also called account ID in the accounts table and not artist ID. Like all the little tech debt that we've accumulated, and all the little nuanced choices that have happened. Because if we got rid of that shit, we would speed up code review. It would speed up shipping and code review even more, because it would like the LM would just have the context needed to be like, oh, that's how this shit works.
Right. 6 minutes on a code review. I provide feedback relatively instantly once I start. The second I run into something, I would add the comment. This might wait until the end. However, my start time to do this, the trigger for my review to start, is not instant. Here it's instant. As soon as you make a push, it starts. You push it, you tag in the thread. I finish my own evals. I go get lunch. I come back and I start my review. So the start time is faster. The review time might be slower. And the theory is over time, it gets faster. Maybe.
Question. Mm-hmm. I know you have a call at 2:00, right?
Today, this is my only call.
Oh shit! So we could spend all day on this call. Let's fucking go.
You are making additional claims that were not said, but that is a potential reality.
Well, actually, my question to you was, is this
There's
valuable
another one
enough?
for Vercelbot, which we also have not included in our. Are you paying for Vercelbot?
No, I think they just.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I am not sure if I'm paying for Vercelbot. I don't think so, but I might be. I'm not sure.
But what you were saying earlier about we could review this all day.
Oh yeah, no. My question was, is this a valuable use of our time on Mondays? Is there a world in which we can continue this practice on Mondays of like setting an hour to live improve our engineering pipeline with AI?
Yeah, if I don't know if we want to make it like habitual, we just do it. But like at the end of this call, we say, let's do it again next week, and we keep extending it week over week until we decide like we don't have a reason to do this next week. That seems valid.
All right, cool. I'm cool with that, and that way that will allow me to feel comfortable stopping at 2:00 instead of
Brain
going.
trust evals took 9 minutes, so we just had 9 minutes. Vercel agent, it took 4 minutes for the review.
What is the Vercel agent?
So I love the idea of Vercel having their agent. My biggest pushback is their pricing. Because I personally push a lot of commits, and each time I push a commit, it's going to trigger a new review.
Instead of just,
I believe it's 30 cents per review. So if we're opening up, I think on some days I'm merging. Last Monday, I merged 30 pull requests, and I probably for each of those pushed 3 commits. That was a big day for me. That would have been 90 reviews, 90 times 30 cents. 90 for one dev for one day, not 3. I should have done 30.
Is it 30 cents per review?
We'll let me pull it up. AI code reviews in public beta on September 18th. So it was a couple weeks ago that they did the announcement. Oh, this is their change log. I don't want their change log. I don't think I want their change log. Code reviews, you get $100 in full credits. Try for free. Read the docs. I think the docs is going to be where it says the pricing. I was like, wow, this is great. $100, that should be enough to do a lot. Which potentially it's a week worth of code review. Pricing. There's pricing.
Yeah, 30 cents per review.
Did you already find it?
Yeah, it just says it right there.
Yeah, 30 cents per review. And then there's pass-through token cost. So it's fixed cost of 30 cents plus LLM build at the AI provider rate, whatever the provider is that we pick.
But go to your agents tab, because can you select what gets reviewed and what doesn't?
Good question. 90 times 0.3 is 30 cents. Comes out to $27 for one day of review. That feels high to me, but also I would probably pay a human dev more than that to do QA.
Yeah, I agree. If the human dev would be able to understand when a review is necessary versus not, instead of reviewing every single commit. And I think that's the key is.
So I have not upgraded to Pro. I have a feeling your account is the one that is doing it because you have Pro and this is a Recoup repository.
Let me pull it up. While you're doing this.
An observation is Vercel took 4 minutes to do the review.
Can you see my screen? Let me share while you're doing that.
I'll stop sharing them.
Can you see?
I am working on navigating the stream to get you up there. I don't see you sharing yet, but it might. Nope, I do see now. I'm activating it. I think it's just my computer lagging.
Okay.
And I clicked on share your screen, so I think there it is. Yep, I see Vercel agent. Yep, there it is. 9 minutes ago. What's the spike? So how much have you been seeing in? in usage, $2. And this is on what, a 24-hour period? This is on a 12-hour period. So you've spent $2 in some cents, so like $3. And look at that review that it did 9 minutes ago was 56 cents. Yeah, you're spending like close to $1 per review.
But let's see if it's worth it. And let's also go to settings. Do we see agents?
I don't see it here. Would it be in the agents tab maybe?
I was just there.
And we didn't see anything in here.
Settings.
Settings. Oh, and that settings took you to the main settings? Yeah. What are you looking for? An ability to put custom instructions?
Yeah, or at least set like how to, like what triggers the agent to run. Agent reproduces issues in secure sandbox, up-to-date docs. Enable code reviews for your repositories. Navigate to the agents tab. Under repositories, choose one of the following: all, public, private. Under review draft PRs, select whether to skip draft PRs or review draft PRs. Okay, what does that mean?
So maybe I make draft PRs if I'm not ready, and then whenever I'm ready for review, I move it to, I undraft it. I also don't know what it means, but I'm sure it's a quick Google search or.
Yeah, that seems like what, because it says it's odd. The default is skip draft PRs, and so I think that's the technically the correct way. What you just said is open draft PRs. Oh, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
It just means, so like, okay, so you open up a draft PR and then you only turn it. Oh, where am I? I'll stop sharing. You only turn it into like a actual PR once you're ready for, all your commits are ready and you're cool.
I think all of the actions have finished running on my side, so I'll go back to sharing.
Yeah, let's do it. It's 2:04. I know it was supposed to be an hour. So let me know when you want to cut this off, when you're comfortable going.
Less is more, simple is best. I think the next benchmark, unable to share screen. I'm going to try it again. I think the next benchmark we have is getting this merged and having it run on your pull request, because that means that the Recoup chat repository is now running cursor review, and we can see an output, give our thoughts on it, and wrap up with those thoughts and plant an MIQ for
next
week to keep going. Does that sound okay to you?
Agreed.
Okay, so let's see everything that happened. So we scroll through here. Vercel did its deploy. Supabase didn't run because we didn't make any Supabase changes. Evals were run. Big change on catalog to 100%. That's a normal swing. Evals ran. They did some swings, but nothing worth noting. Codex ran a review this time. Codex ran a review. And it said escape apostrophes in the print payload. Script passes a multi-line. Cursor agent uses a single quote, but the message itself contains apostrophes.
Question about.
Go ahead.
No, continue.
One thing I'm thinking could be helpful is that we can give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. And if I give it thumbs down, hopefully it does not keep doing that. I don't think this matters. This feels very well, and this is potentially commenting on something that we already fixed of the single quote string. So it was caught by our pipeline. It was a bug that didn't allow the pipeline to run. But we got the feedback from the pipeline.
So this is valid.
This is old, and I don't know if it ran again after we pushed again. It looks like it didn't. So it ran the first time. Reviews are triggered when you open a pull request or mark a draft as ready. This goes back into what we just said with Vercel. If I start with drafts and then when it's ready, I mark it as ready. Additionally, I can just tag Codex review. Codex can also answer questions. Try commenting, fix this CI failure. It can update the PR, so we can have cursor update or we could have Codex update. It gave us this feedback. This is okay. It was actually an error that we hit. Vercel left a review. So the first review that came in was Codex. Why'd you come over here? I accidentally clicked, I guess.
So the one thing we learned today is draft PRs need to be added to our practice.
Need to be, I'm not sure. It is an option. I hesitate to add bureaucracy and additional steps before merging, because each additional step is potentially slowing us down.
But let me also.
And your goal is to have us go faster.
Well, okay. So if Vercel bot is turned on, charging us 30 cents per commit, then we need drafts.
Agreed. At least on mine, because I push a lot of updates. I don't know if he pushes.
I do as well.
You do as well.
Yeah, I'm
committing 1,000 things. That's good. I appreciate that. 23 minutes ago, Codex left the first review. 14 minutes ago, so a 23 minus 14 is 9. So 9 minutes later, Vercel finished its review. Vercel just said, change it from cursor to local. The workflow attempts to run cursor agent after installing the cursor command, but the command may be incorrect. Fails to find, and it gives us a whole bunch of details. What fails? Result, command not found. We actually didn't see that. So in this case, that feedback was not valid. I'm going to just resolve this and move on. And I thought, am I in the wrong pull request? I thought it ran. I swear I'd just seen. Oh, here it is. Cursor code review is also highlighting Vercel. I don't know why Vercel's in here.
No, cursor code review isn't that's what the branch is called, right?
This is a file. This is the file we added. This is this file. This is .github workflows cursor code review.yaml. GitHub workflows cursor code review.yaml. The branch name's up here and it's different.
Okay, got it.
I'm confused why Vercel is inside of my run. So I'm going to go into the action and see if it gives me details inside of the action. I'm leaning towards merging this so that way we can get it inside of your pull request.
I agree.
Brain trust, cursor code review. Cursor code review. Perform the review. Okay, added an inline note about avoiding curl bash. Yeah, I'd seen this originally, but I don't see it now in the comments. Added inline note to restrict to only needed commands. Harden installer step in narrowing the permissions. No other clear high severity issues found. This was a very simple pull request, so it makes sense that there weren't very many helpful notes. I'm going to check it one more time to see if it gives me the notes. Maybe it disappeared in my clicking of tabs. Here's my GitHub action. Okay, so it seems like it was a bug that it had combined them. So here's that feed. Come on, laptop. Why are you being slow? It was a bug that it had put them together where that it had admitted. Focus, security, avoid the curl bash, specify a specific version, and verify checksum. Shell GH is too broad, specify to only needed subcommands, GitHub review, GitHub PR diff, GitHub PR review. Both of these are potentially security vulnerabilities that I should care about. In the short term, I don't. Take a screenshot, put the screenshot in thread, let everybody know that the pull request has run. Action runs successfully. Now I merge it. And then once I merge it, can you pull the latest changes from main to the pull request can you check out the branch of the pull request you and I are reviewing, pull from main, and push your changes back to your branch? Did I lose you? Uh-oh. Is my side lagging? There's Sid.
I'm back. I lost you for a sec.
Okay. I just merged my pull request. You check out the branch of the pull request you and I were reviewing, pull from main, and then push those changes.
Yeah.
That should trigger the cursor.
What branch was it?
The branch you and I were reviewing. That's a good question. I'll jump back over to the Recoup Slack. Recoup, we were in the web search, which the branch name is
the web search one.
Your web search branch name, which looks like web search streaming is what you named it. All one word.
Got it. All right, let me share my screen. Sharing.
Got your screen.
Can you see it?
Yep.
All right. All right, web search streaming. All right, what do you want me to do? You want me to just
tell it to check out the web search streaming branch, pull the latest changes from main, and push back to the branch.
push to this branch?
To this branch, exactly.
What's it asking me?
Communicating really well.
What'd you say?
Story's communicating well. I can't hear what he's saying, but it sounds like he's forming complete sentences.
Yeah, he is. All right, what do I do here?
Did it can Control X? Tell it to continue. Oh yeah, it looks like it's going already.
Yeah.
To do that every time it wants to commit.
Yep.
Nice. Keep you in the loop. Rejected because you're missing stuff. Let's see if it pulls. There you go. It's pulling. Did you merge your perplexities? Had you merged something? Whatever. Cursor made that commit. Cursor had changed your code, so you were missing that locally. That was why it failed. Okay. So can you go back to the pull request and let's see if it's running on your side? Go to Slack and then find the link to your pull request, or go directly to GitHub, whichever you find faster.
Yeah, let's just do that.
And let's see what it's running. Vercel's doing its deploy. Supabase skipped. GitHub, Brain Trust will likely run another set of evals. Vercel bot, a whole lot of deploys from all of your pushes. I tagged for the reviews. We got a cursor making a change now. We've got Codex doing its review. And then I commented.
52 minutes ago. Okay, wait, where are we here? 1 minute ago. Here we are.
Yeah.
That's 46 minutes ago. Okay, so we're right here.
Yep. And if you scroll down, you see cursor code review is happening, and it's got that orange dot beside it. And if you view the details, we can watch it in progress. I don't know how long mine took. I'll check how long mine took, so that way we can have a rough estimate of how long. Now this is cursor, and again, I did not find anywhere to put in my custom instructions for cursor. So questions that I have leaving this are, where can I give cursor review custom instructions? Custom instructions. Is it in the normal?
Didn't you give it custom instructions in the file?
You're right. Inside of the GitHub action, it should be leaving that. So we'll see if it does it for this one. For mine, the review took 10 minutes.
And that was a simple review, right?
And that was very simple. So ideally, it takes 10 minutes for all of them. Brain Trust also took 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So Cursor only took 30, 40 seconds more than Brain Trust. And I think Brain Trust is going to keep getting slower the more evals I write.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because I don't think they run in parallel. I think they run one after the other. Or I could be wrong. Maybe they do run in parallel. So one question I have is, where can I give the custom instructions? Sid's response was in the GitHub action. So maybe we'll see if it did it in the GitHub action. I think I have the same question for Codex. Let me tag Codex in your review again, because we're already going to be waiting. So
here, I'll stop sharing while we wait. While you tag it. Dude, I like low-key want to clone the Recoup chat repo and then just put a bunch of agents on loop on it. One that's like reviewing and then pushing and then like one finding new things to build, and just have a sandbox of like an app that like agents are just working on 24/7 and see what happens.
Do it in a sandbox environment. That is a valid experiment.
Right? Like the issue is like where they would start to like just spin into like non-reality because it can't actually test as a user.
It cannot test any of the, currently it cannot test any of the interface.
I was also thinking
like that.
Seems like
there's browser rules. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it also seems like a lot of your work lately is writing these evals. So my next question is like, should there be a user sends chat eval is written agent? Checks if there's already an eval that's similar? Or is that overkill?
All of these things are possible. The eval, I spend time on reading through the chat, reading through Sid's comment in the Google Doc. What did Sid note was the difference between reality and not? Would the LLM know, reading through the chat, what was missing?
It would not.
What's the eval criteria? I had just told Cursor, I gave it the ticket, I gave it the full chat, and I said, write the eval. It wrote the eval. And I was like, actually, we've already got a TikTok eval form. I'd prefer you move this prompt into the existing TikTok eval form and update the eval name to be more generic. Instead of just multiple evals with only one thing in it, let's group them together a little bit better. Adding better custom instructions, maybe it would have known that, so I could have iterated on the custom instructions. We're moving in the right direction. You have good ideas, and if they feel valid for you to build out, you do a great job seeing things that I don't see and then sharing with me things that I didn't know were possible. So if you find it valuable to build to fork Recoup chat and have it iterate, do what you think is valuable, because you have so far been steering the company in great directions.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think I also start way too far down the line. So like, let's just see what agents can do randomly is probably not the best use of time, although we'll get there. But I do think there's a valid, what I'm really trying to say is like, how do we know the hypothesis that I have for us and for every customer we have is context management. Is what is the LLMs
Right.
going to give you generic answers versus your actual business logic answers? And do you have the systems set up to train the LLMs in order to have them context managed correctly? And like, whether we're a record label, whether we're an engineering team, like hitting the bottlenecks of like, will the LLM know this? Well, no. Well, why not? And how do we build the system to show it how? And it slowly starts to train itself so that 5 years down the line, like, we're not saying the same thing. Well, the LLM's not going to know about this thing, right? And like, building out those systems now is the key, man. And what I'm realizing also is that like, all of that is stuck either in our head or in conversations like this.
Right.
And context, like, how do we set up systems for context management so that the AI is getting smarter over time, and it's not just us constantly being like, it's just not going to know that until we go in and fix it ourselves.
Yeah, that's what the enterprise companies are thinking. That's what our competitors or the legacy companies that have already won, that's what they think. And we don't want to get ourselves in the mental trap of, I'm a coding expert, I use an LLM on a daily basis, I know that I'm using it in my daily practice and it's not working. Well, that might be a fault of me not including I agree with you that context is 80-90% of the design space.
It's all that. And it's figuring out systems to like, it's so funny. I was watching a podcast on the new CEO of Scale AI, which is the company that Facebook just bought for like whatever.
Is that to acqui-hire an engineer and paid like millions or billions of dollars for?
Billions, yeah, exactly. So the new CEO of Scale, and Scale started off as like basically they're like, are you familiar with the Scale story of like that? So Scale,
a single dev is what they wanted, right?
Well, like the engineering team, but like, yes, they put like the CEO of Scale as like their head of AI.
Yeah.
And then now, so the new CEO, I was watching the podcast on him, and basically Scale started off as like data tagging for autonomous vehicles. So like they were hiring humans to watch videos and tag videos to so the LLM can train on the correct data. And then that was during the autonomous revolution. And then as generative AI happened, they realized, oh, model companies also need this data. So they would hire people to come in and manually do what we're doing with evals. Like, this is a good answer, this is a bad answer. And he's saying now they're moving into domain experts. So they will hire doctors for $1,000 an hour to say, here's a prescription, what is wrong, this is what the AI is saying, and then the doctor perfects it, and then they recursively train. And like, that's Scale's entire business model right now. But they were saying, the thing he said that was so interesting was, people expect the internet to just work, and they forget that people still had to dig up and lay pipes for the internet. Like, there was the hard work of like going in and getting the system to work. And now today, you don't think about that. It's just like internet working. And before that, like, but there is still a lot of work that goes into building these smart systems. And I think a lot of that has to do with like what he said was resonating with like what we're dealing with now. It's just like these record label, everybody, not just record labels, just every company is just like, AI is cool for me to like do this one thing, but like the models don't have to get any better for us to extract 10 times the value from them with the right context.
Right.
But
Agreed.
you also have a system that's making it easy for users to extract context. You fucking win the game because context is extracting and models are getting better. So GPT-8 comes out and it has all of the context from every single business decision that it's not trained on. Now all of a sudden every eval shoots to 100%.
Yep.
All right, let's see where I'm at. I'm just going rambling, but where are we?
I'm seeing 11 and a half minutes and it's still running. Let me refresh on my side.
Did Vercel run though?
I also tagged Cursor. I'm sorry, I also tagged Codex.
I see 4 minutes ago Vercel agent. Is that correct?
Probably correct. I'm refreshing the pull request. I was just looking at the action.
Ooh, Codex review 3 minutes ago. Didn't find any major issues. Keep it up. Let's fucking go, Codex. See, that's what I love about OpenAI, man. They're so good at making people feel good. I want to keep using Codex because it told me good job.
They make you feel good.
It gave me a dog treat. And it's like, good boy.
Didn't find any major issues. So that the question still applies for Codex. Well, let me see if I can find something in here that doesn't follow one of those.
Share screen? Or do you want me to share?
Yeah, that's something I could have been doing earlier, is going through my own review and to see if in my own review, I'm going to try to keep it light. Same principles, not even all the ones that I noted. Dry, single responsibility, YAGNI, open, closed. Those 4 are how I typically rate a pull request or cause me to leave feedback on a pull request.
Wait, share screen?
Am I not sharing?
Nope. I don't think so. I do not see it.
No, it gave me an error that I didn't wait for. How about now?
Yes.
Okay. These docs I'm not a fan of, but they don't impact the project, and you put them in a cursor rules file, so that's fine. Components AI elements, inline citation. This tells me it's not one of our own files, so I don't need to review it because it is from Vercel, and we don't touch any code that they write. I skip review. UI carousel. UI tells me that this is from ShadCN. To verify that this is actually from ShadCN, I go to ShadCN. Because the last time I thought something was ShadCN from Sid, it was Shimmer, and it was not actually ShadCN. So
this is ShadCN. Well, it's from the AI elements.
It's part of AI elements?
Yeah.
AI elements lives on top of ShadCN, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I'll save you the check.
Oh, you're not saving me the check. I don't.
Damn it.
There it is. Yeah, I see it. Carousel right there. Trust nobody. Not even the regular trust but verify. There's no trust. Okay, so we got carousel as a component, so I don't need to read through that. Come on. Okay. Tools, search API result, interfaces. We've got a function defined in here. This is a React component that's defining a function. The function is not just short. There's multiple functions in here. This is not following single responsibility principle. I would make a note on all these functions. Each of these should have their own function file. The React component should be the only thing inside of here. Everything else should be moved. I will leave that comment. Single responsibility principle, like we explicitly said in some of them. I'll just make it up at the top so I don't have to drag. Because if this needs to get reused, there's a lot of reasons. Single responsibility.
I agree with you. I'm trying to figure out why, even though I have the principles, even though I ran 3 times, are you following these principles? It didn't catch this. And it makes me almost feel like I need to think about a system in my side where instead of reviewing everything at once through the principles. Like it's like file by file is a different chat almost or something. Like it's not catching some shit, and I don't understand why.
I'll just leave that one for now because that single file has 3 or 4 functions defined in it plus React code. So that is one that I would tag that in including my own. If that was in my own pull request vibe coded from Cursor, I would go back into Cursor and I would say, move this into here, and I would not merge my own code until I did this. I vibe code as well. This is normal to get thrown into my own code. It's fine for the first iteration, but I would not merge this in until I've done it. Chat, the codex, yeah, it said it didn't find anything. So we're still waiting on Cursor code review. It's been 17 minutes in this code review.
It's so interesting. Review. Like, so Cursor Codex also didn't see the issue with your principles.
However, I don't know if the MIQ that I have is where can I give Codex custom instructions on code review? We modified the settings after seeing that review. My hypothesis is those general custom instructions are when I tell it to write code, not when I tell it to review code.
Got it.
But I don't know. I'm making a guess off of my lived experience, not reading through the docs. Do they have docs? Codex code review docs. Try closing the tab, closing a couple tabs. Using GitHub Copilot. Oh, I said codes, not codex. Codex. Code review docs. Implementation, code review, cloud, code review. Codex can review code directly in GitHub. This is great for finding bugs. Another thing that I could try is giving it the full list. And right here in the comment, I could try saying at Codex review following
these principles.
These principles. Be strict. And now I'll just copy what I put inside of Cursor's code review and just copy this simple 5 lines. And let's see if the code review changes. So far I've caught something. Will any of the other code reviews catch this? On your side, what MIQs do you have that you're leaving this? We still haven't finished, but just trying to prompt you. What MIQ do you have leaving this that you want to prime yourself with to set yourself up for the next call?
My MIQ is when, as a vibe coder, when should I open a pull review for suites to review? Because what I'm finding is even with me telling Cursor, like, you know, follow these principles, even with me doing it twice or 3 times, it's still missing things. And so my question is, should I stay in Cursor or should I go? I'm going to start to play around with opening a draft PR and then tagging Codex and seeing if it catches. Like, how many LMMs does it take to fucking get to the point where like Suites can just say this looks great?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah. That's maybe not how I like you phrasing that. maybe not how many LLMs does it take, where can we inject an LLM in the code review process so that when Sweets reviews it, I just give it a thumbs up and
in
say
the engineer's process too. Like I'm thinking of it I'm thinking of it not, you're thinking of it from your code review perspective. I'm thinking of it from like it should be my objective to deliver something that passes your review process, right? Like I don't want to have to we're setting up these systems. I don't want to make it so that like I get lazier because I know Sweets has a code reviewer that's just gonna figure it out, and then he could put like, no, I should also be following the same standards.
Mm-hmm.
And so what can I do to like make it so that the code the iteration time between your code review and us shipping it to main prod is minimized. That's really where I'm coming from, is if I'm leaving it up to you, you're going to review stuff. And if you catch something, then you're going to call it back to me to iterate on.
Correct.
Which then adds another 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it takes, you know?
Correct. Slowing down our iteration cycles.
Correct. And so like I need to get to a place where like I'm also catching this stuff early.
Yes. Ideally, everybody on the team has has high standards and is able to review to have those high standards. So that way it's not just on me to police this.
I agree. But like, I'll give you an example, right? Like I'm shipping the shit in the sense of like vibe coding it.
Yep.
I'm also leaning on AI to like double, triple check. I'm not going through every line of code and being like, I'm not doing the review process like that. Like,
yeah,
I'm doing more like, can I get this from 0 to 1? Does it look good to the customer? And then once I get it, and then I'm running it to like, all right, cool. Now, please, once I get it working, I'm like, I tag the principles and I'm like, great, please follow these principles and make sure we're good. And like, I have it run through that.
That's also my current process. I do the same thing. I start with, okay, here's the ticket. Can I get this from 0 to 1, from not existing to working? I ignore it while it's doing the thing, because in my mind, I'm like, oh no, this needs to be changed. But I just let it build the code that's not clean, because I'm like, I don't want to, what is it? This is even in the creative process of like, when you're in your stream of thought for writing, don't try to review it. Write whatever your stream of thought is and just put it on paper. And then later put yourself into a review process. Like you as a creator, you as a producer, Sid, for music, like if you're in your flow for making a beat, you should just make that beat and not critique yourself too much, because the critiquing brain and the reviewing brain is different from your creator brain.
Yeah, right. Agreed.
So I agree that they should be separate processes, because get it to 0 to 1 first, absolutely. And then, we finally got a GitHub action finished. Okay, what did we get here? GitHub action resolved. This was, which GitHub action? I'm going to refresh this.
That's an interesting way of thinking about it, Sweets, is like separating creative from reviews, even from like an engineer's perspective of like, I'm currently using like the same chat to create that I am to review. And maybe it's a switch chats to a review agent, or open a draft PR and run a review. Mm-hmm. Like separate those two worlds and the two context windows.
Mm-hmm. And they both have different sets of rules to be following.
Yeah.
Okay, inline citation trigger crash on invalid URLs appears fixed. Safe domain parsing. It's giving feedback on an AI element, which is not
necessary.
We won't touch that, because that's Vercel, and if Vercel's releasing bugged code, that's another problem. SSE stream chunk appears fixed by buff. So one of the other reviews also gave this on your stream chunk, and I also ignored it there. When I'm reviewing, I'm assuming your code works, and I'm going to test it. And if it works in my testing, I'm giving it a thumbs up. This is saying that potentially there's an edge case where your code doesn't work. Summary: no clear big errors or warning issues found on the changed lines. The new deep research tool streams progress and final content as expected. UI wiring and types exported are consistent. The carousel dependencies match existing usage. And then it left another comment. Logic, after the read loop, please ask your administrator. This seems like broken English. After your read loop, any remaining, please ask your administrator content in the text decoder's internal state aren't flushed. If the final line doesn't end with a new line, the last tokens can be dropped. Please flush with and process any leftover. Oh, this might be actual text in before returning. Okay. When the tool finishes, this branch returns null. So all of these reviews seem to be examining, is the code working and are there errors, which seems effective. None of them are enforcing the code styling that I'm looking for. And that might just be the limitation of all these code review tools is Vercel's trying to prevent vibe coders from shipping vulnerabilities to prod, from merging vulnerabilities to prod. Codex is trying to do the same thing. Cursor is trying to do the same thing. None of them are getting to the point yet of replacing a QA tester or someone that is trying to write clean code or enforce clean code principles.
Or at least we have not found the key unlock of how to get these to perform that way.
Yeah. Something interesting is it's now giving us more. The GitHub action gave us another one. Logic, trailing chunk loss. This is the same. It looks like it gave this twice. Append to buffer. Logic results in type mismatch risk. So there's some sort of type mismatch. Giving AI elements feedback that I wouldn't look at that. And then it's giving shad CN. So it's talking about functionality. It's giving feedback on AI elements, something that we don't maintain, and giving something about shad CN, which we also don't maintain. And it looks like it has finished. So the goal at the start of this was get an AI to comment something that matches my principles. And I skipped the files that it left things on because we don't maintain those. I'm not going to spend my time looking at it. The first file that I actually reviewed, I found 3 or 4 functions that I would have left comments on. None of them did. Are they going to cause a breaking change? Likely not. It makes it harder for me to read. It makes it so if I can't read it, it's going to be harder for me to understand what's going on. But if LLMs are reading it, maybe I don't need to understand. But that is taking me out of the code review loop. One alternative is like, sweet, stop reviewing code. We're going to keep shipping. We're going to keep merging code. And if and when the wheel gets squeaky and breaking code gets to prod, let's worry about it then.
No. That's what we did. That's what we did last time, and we got to a place in February that like broke everything. So no, I don't think that's the key. I do think, like, I mean, my most important question after this is like, how do we get a QA code reviewer? Right? Like that has to either exist somewhere, or like there has to be a way to get these 2 agents or Vercel, or like there has to be a way to do this. But I also think that like you asked a really valid question, which is, well, maybe LLMs can read it. And so like, are we building our code base to be the best of both worlds, where humans can read it and makes it easy to read, but also it makes it easy for LLMs to read? I think that it's not like a black and white situation where it's one or the other. Like there's a middle ground in which we move these the functions that you said to other files, but we organize it in a way so it's easy for LLMs to also know that they exist over there. Because the more the files we have, the harder it's going to be for the LLM to find them and know where it needs to go and why, right? Unless we're naming it very clearly and we have like a running document saying, this is where this folder is where this stuff lives. This is where this stuff lives. Look over here for this. Like, and unless we have that running document, the more files we have and the more subdirectories or directories we have, the more it's going to miss files because there's just so many of them.
The best documentation is no docs. Ideally, our architecture is intuitive enough that if it's looking for a lib to what's the
But wait, hold on. The best documentation is no documentation in human world.
even in LLM world.
In LLM world, how like you need documentation. How else?
Parse search results. So like in this case, one of the function that I caught is parse search results. In the future, if I would have put this in lib/search/parse search results. In the future, if I'm writing a new search lib that I need to parse search results, what would likely happen is I tell the LLM, write this thing, it rewrites the function in the file. I tell it to move the function, and when it moves the function, it says, oh, I actually see that there's already a function here that does this. I'm going to delete the function that I wrote, and I'm going to reuse this function that already exists. Then the question becomes, how does it do it right the first time and not even write that code, but find it? And when I start asking myself that question, I'm like, now I'm 5 steps ahead. How can we just get it to the point where it's catching this in review? Because we have thrown, in this call, we've thrown Cursor, Codex, Vercel. None of them caught something that I caught.
Yeah, which means
even though when I started typing this rule, it auto-filled them and was like, yeah, these are obviously the rules that you want to follow. These aren't obscure rules. These are well-known, very documented.
No, yeah. And again, thinking back, like this is another issue. Like it's the same issue that I'm finding when I'm about to commit is if I generally say, hey, review and follow these principles, like most of the time it won't catch this stuff. But if I go into if I put your specific feedback in, then it's like, oh yeah, let me go do that. Like,
right.
So like it's like there's a missing step between where it's maybe it's I think it's missing something about the system prompt. Your like something around like where is its focus? How do we refocus the LLM to not worry as much about the bugs? I mean, obviously worry about the bugs, but more so like you're specifically trying to clean up this code for readability.
For the next call, I'm wondering have we learned that there is a potential where we can get the existing tools that we checked, Vercel, Codex, Cursor, have we learned enough from this that we can update them to make them work to achieve the goal that we're trying to achieve of getting an AI to comment the same thing that I would comment so that any dev on our team can get the feedback without waiting for me to be available? And so that when I come in, I give it a thumbs up. Can we update one of those 3 to make it work? If not, is there another tool like CodeRabbit? We didn't test CodeRabbit in here, and that's another one that has existed. That was like the first LLM review tool that I've kind of moved away from, but I know it's highly customizable. Is there so out of the tools that we've tried, are one of those tools viable for us to continue? The tools that we've tried are venture-backed, lots of money. They will continue to iterate. If they're not there today, they will likely get there in the future. So I hesitate to move away from them. If they're not there today, do we want to explore an existing tool that already works? Or if none of the tools work and our hypothesis is it's going to take them years or a long enough time horizon that we need to build our own. So the 3, ideally, we can get one of these top tier venture-backed, lots of engineers. We can get one of those to work because that's heavy tailwinds that can push us forward without us needing to do a lot of heavy lifting. If we don't think that that's possible, and I really think deeply if we don't think that that's possible, if we're betting against them to get to that place, is there another tool that is not one of those 3 that is more focused on this use case that we want to double down on? The general tools won't work. We need a very specific tool. Or third, there's no specific tool. Nobody's worrying about this problem. Only our team is trying to do this. Very unlikely we build it ourselves. Do you have any thoughts on which of those options we want to progress on coming into next week?
I agree with option 1 is like best case scenario, get the shit we already have installed and it's running to like work. The question is like, I don't know what else we haven't tried, and like, right? We changed custom instructions in Codex, and we updated what we thought is where the custom instructions are on the GitHub. And both of them didn't work. So unless it's like spending another hour figuring out where the custom instructions are and how to and iterating, like, then I tend to be like, all right, like then we may want to try Task or Code Rabbit to see if it does this. So I guess that's my question: is what's going to be faster to like start? What is more likely going to get us to where we want to go by the next call or on the next call? Is the next call's best use of our time installing Code Rabbit and then seeing if it works there? Is the best use of the next time like trying to go through and figure out how to customize the instructions and testing there? I also realize that like if it's taking 19 minutes per review, then like is it the best use of our time to even run these during the call? Yeah. Or like test and iterate on the call seems like you're only going to get 2 or 3 runs before the call's done. So those are my most important questions. What's the best use of our time during the time while we're during this hour?
Do you have a thought on a goal you want us to put on for next week's call? So that way we've written some MIQs. Do you have a specific goal you think we want to work on in next week's Monday call? Whether it's related to code reviews or something else. I think these Monday calls, the goals are right now optimizing our engineering team using LLMs.
Yeah. I think staying on this track is good and getting it to a place where that would be the goal, the same goal for this call. like we didn't solve it this time, but we learned a lot. We tried a lot. So let's continue this practice of getting it to a place where you said it great. Constantly repeating to follow single responsibility principle is not the best use of your time. How do we remove that from being a use of your time?
I remember you had said you went to an AI conference and that was where you discovered brain trust, and you heard them talking and they had said that they had written an eval and it kept failing. And then one day the models got better and then it passed, and they had like written these evals for when the tools got better. And I'm feeling deja vu in this, where I think
that's a cool idea.
My goal is right now to get these to run continuously so that we can keep seeing if it is at the level of me.
That's such a good point.
Until it is there. And so I'm thinking next week, the goal is, okay, we've got cursor set up. We put my rules in there so that if we are understanding cursor's docs right and it's running every time, ideally, if the tool works, it's going to do that. We don't have that set up for cursor. Vercel is already running. We don't know how to tweak the system prompt. Code Rabbit is also missing. So
Code Rabbit missing.
How can we get Codex to run on every single pull request so that each time someone submits a pull request, we can at least check, is it now enforcing that? Yes or no? That way we don't have to manually tag it. So I'm thinking Codex. How can we automate Codex? And how can we automate Code Rabbit? Those are the 2 that I think are missing right now.
I agree.
Vercel's already running and cursor's already running. So I wrote Codex twice.
And we only use 2. Well, I don't know what model Vercel is using, but we only use GPT-5 Codex and GPT-5. Cursor used GPT-5. So we haven't tried Claude 4.5. We haven't tried Opus. We haven't tried any other agents.
Correct.
Or any other models.
So automate and customize model will be the goals of next week's call. Automate Codex and Code Rabbit and see if we can tweak the model on the assistants we've already tried.
Yeah. All right. And then on my side, I will go and fix these I will fix my PR. I'm gonna go through every line. I'm gonna go through every one line by line, or not every. I'm gonna go do the PR request. I need to get to that point. Of
Sid's going to become a coder.
I'm just gonna need to, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll go do that. All right, cool, dude. I appreciate you staying so long. This was a fun one, though.
This was a fun one. If you stuck around this long, you have witnessed Sid going through the transformation of producer, vibe coder to coder. Leave a comment down below with thumbs up and some emojis so that way Sid feels